Welcome to How Preschool Teachers Do It.
This is Alison Kentos. I am an early childhood educator.
And this is Cindy Tarabush. I am an early childhood consultant.
This podcast is for parents and early childhood professionals.
Let our experience and research-based knowledge become your guide. Hi, preschool peeps.
Hey, peeps.
Welcome back to another Monday morning with us. And we're doing a topic today that we were saying before we started to record that I'm actually probably going to have to define for people who are younger than, let's say, me. For example, me.
Me, me, because I know what it means, but
have you ever done it?
I have. Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. Because when I was a kid, PenPals were just a staple of curriculums that people had PenPals. Inherent, of course, is the word pen. So this is back when we used to write using paper and pen or pencil.
Mm-hmm. It's also when mail, I think, was more prevalent too, like mailing things. Mailing a letter was more prevalent than it is today. Today, you just
it was the only way when I was.
It was the only way to correspond with people. So this is like a big deal.
Let's face it; it was my only way to get in touch with people other than the phone. So we had PenPals as part of the normal curriculum every year in my schooling as an elementary school student. There were PenPals somehow, somewhere. And the school or the teacher, I was a kid. I don't know how it exactly worked, but they would hook you up with a class of your same age peers somewhere else in the country or around the world. Sometimes you had really ambitious people who could hook you up with people around the world. And you wrote to each other monthly. It was definitely a planned and defined thing back then.
Yeah.
Monthly, you would write to them, they would write back, we would write the next month the same way, and it went back and forth through the school year. And, if you were really fortunate and your pen pals were actually nearby, some classes got to meet them.
To visit them,
after writing for a whole school year.
Yeah. I feel like the way that worked back then must have been like the school enrolled in some sort of program, right? And then you had to, because how would you, as an elementary school in New Jersey, know of an elementary school in, say, Texas or California? You wouldn't, so there must have been some sort of program like schools enrolled in. And then the teacher or the principal said, okay, we'll do it with you. And then you correspond. They would correspond, I guess, with the principal or whatever. There has to be that way. How else would it happen?
You're unraveling the mysteries of my childhood. But you're probably right. And I have an idea.
How else would it work?
I have a thought. I have an idea related to our website and this campaign that I think we're about to get on for PenPals.
Oh boy.
There were remind me before we're done with this episode. There were many reasons for doing this pen pal thing. I think back in the day when we did it as kids, it was to teach us about grammar and writing and corresponding.
Yes.
And
how to write a letter.
Yeah.
And how to mail that letter and how to fill out the envelope. Yeah. And how to respond to the person who wrote you. Yeah.
I think it was a literacy lesson mostly back then.
Yes.
And that's how they helped us in using a real life experience to hone our letter writing skills and our grammar and all that stuff. When we were really young, I would suspect that it was, the kindergarten teachers would write what we wanted to say. And this is something that can still be done in early childhood settings, say in preschools, childcare. Why can't the whole class write a letter that's dictated to the teacher to send to another whole class of preschoolers? Why can't we do that? And in fact, taking dictation in front of children is a very important literacy skill in early childhood, because it teaches them that the spoken word is the written word. Very often teachers take dictations in their early childhood classrooms. They'll ask the children a question and then write down their answers, but writing to someone would give it a whole new dimension.
Yeah. And why can't you also write letters to not just classrooms, but people? You could write to a business and find out how that business runs. If you write to like the owner of a business or a politician or a mayor or something like that. You could do that
No,
too. You
you
could
could do
kind of
like,
expand it and then make it a learning lesson that way too.
you could. I was just, when you were saying that, I was thinking about who I have some very vague memory of being a kid and writing. Maybe it was to famous people.
Famous people. Yeah.
I think we used to write like, "Hi, I'm a big fan of yours." And then you'd
See,
get swag in the mail.
See, I don't remember. I remember writing, I think it was like we had to choose some sort of prominent figure, but not famous to that degree. It was like somebody in your state, I think. So people were mostly writing to like the mayor of town, and the mayor of town was kind of in on it. So he would write you back, or sometimes he would visit the school and be like, "Oh, I'm the person."
Or his secretary would, and you thought it was the mayor. You know, it's kind of like
exactly.
that.
It's not actually them, but you don't know as a kid.
There was an occasion when I was a kid where we actually sent an invitation to the White House and you get a form letter back.
Yeah.
Like if you have like a wedding or confirmation or a bar bat mitzvah or whatever, if you wanted to, you could write to the White House and you get a form letter back congratulating you.
Oh, that's cool.
From like, you know, if you want to do that, from whoever you write to, the governor, the president, you know, whoever.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing to keep. I now that I think about it, for my grandparents' 50th anniversary, my mother and uncle, I think they wrote to the White House at the time. And this was a long time ago, but I think that they wrote to the White House and got some form proclamation about their anniversary.
Yeah.
It was, that kind of thing is really cool.
Cool stuff. Yeah.
But I would love the back and forth and back and forth and back and forth every month for these kids. Something that they know is going to happen, that it's predictable. They know it's, and I remember being so excited when my pen pal wrote back to me.
It was exciting to receive that piece of mail. It really was. Because it was just cool. Well, back then it was cool to ever receive mail as a kid. That was like a big thing back then.
Still
now
is.
It's not so much. To me, it is. I love when I get a letter in the mail if anybody wants to write me.
I have a niece and nephew who I do the subscription boxes for. I know they get excited when the boxes come for them.
Yeah.
I think, you know, if we did that back and forth, right? So we're practicing those written to spoken word and writing skills. I remember having to sit and think about what I was going to write to this person I didn't know. That was a lot of cognitive thought and imagination and creativity. But even more than honing those areas of development, I kind of wonder if bringing back pen pals would help us to have a more compassionate, empathetic, and kind world.
I agree with that, because I feel like the part about pen pals that was so cool when we were kids is you were learning. For us, it was like across the country. I don't remember ever doing one in a different country. But you would learn how things work there. Like schooling in a different state is different than what you're learning, or like their culture and traditions are different. They would have different holidays off than we would, I remember. And it was like, and they're in the same country as us. So I feel like that's part of it. And then as you grow up, then you start accepting that everybody's different and unique. And I feel like we're missing that a little bit.
I think also it helps you to make connections. I remember writing like stuff like when I was a kid, I remember writing stuff like, my favorite TV show is, and then the person would write back and say, I watched that show too.
Yeah. And then it makes it seem like you're together, like even though you're across the country. You know, but it's also like the start of like, I feel a really good adult skill, which is networking. You know what I mean? You're kind of networking with these people when you pen pal with them, right? And then you have like this other 8-year-old person who's in Texas or Minnesota or wherever they are. And you're like, oh, I know them, even though you've never met them. And I feel like that's kind of what networking is when you're an adult, when you hook up with these people on social media, and now you kind of know them, but you kind of never met them either, you know? And it's like that. So it's like, maybe that's an important skill to kind of use and hone and develop as they're older. Networking. Yeah.
Life's all about networking, people.
It is.
Who you know.
Who you know. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember being in 3rd grade and having a pen pal, and we moved in December. People have heard my we moved a
Yes,
lot
you're
stories
moving.
when I was a kid, right? So we were always moving. We moved in December, and I remember being so sad because we were going to meet our pen pals in the spring. Just
And
going
you
to
missed
throw that
out.
out there.
Yeah.
I missed it. I'm sorry, whoever,
Yeah.
if you were my pen pal.
Yeah.
I think bringing pen pals back can do a whole lot more than literacy skills. And I think it can help us to develop an understanding. You know, what if we have kids in like a city writing to children who live in a rural area of the country? What if
Oh, I
we
like that.
have children from the northern states in the country writing to children who have a southern background?
Yeah.
What if we were to start to connect young people that way so that they started to develop some sort of affinity, and we could maybe bring people back together who are so divided? And you know, I know that through this podcast, lovely as it is that we're popular, I don't know that we ourselves can enact that kind of change, but we have many listeners. You all can spread the word.
Can. I also feel like, why now, I might be landing this on your plate, Cindy, because you're the technology person here. Why can't we use our website to have people sign up for a pen pal program?
I was just going to say, okay. So here's what I was going to say, that when I said to you, remind me, I want to say something about the website. We have pages on our website now that you can only open up if you log in. It is totally free. We were calling it membership, but then we started calling it our community. It's our community.
Yeah.
It's totally free to be a part of our online community. And I'm wondering what I can set up so that people can say, I am located here and I would like to hook up with another class of 4-year-olds from somewhere in the country.
Somewhere else.
And that could be a lot of work for us, Alison. But
it could be, but I think it'd be fun.
Alison's saying I'm the tech person, but she's like the keep records person.
I'm the record person. So
on you.
It's mostly me. I think I can do it. Like, if you can set up a portion, maybe there's another like button that says sign up for the pen pal program, and then maybe it could email I'll check in on those emails, because it'll email me, right? And then I could check in, and then I can maybe partner the people. I'll keep a log.
We are about to be the agency.
Yes.
What I can do, and by the time this episode is released, it may have already been done, folks.
Yes.
Remember, we record ahead of time. We're not live.
Yeah.
So by the time this is released, it is partially likely that you will be able to go to our website and find a page where you would have to log in near where you log in for the blog and the videos. And then there'll be a page for a pen pal sign up. And I think between the two of us, Alison, I think we're willing to take this on, because I think it would be an awesome thing.
I'm actually like super excited about it right now.
I know.
So I hope people sign up. And if only one person signs up, I will be your pen pal.
There you go.
And then I'd get mail and I'd be excited. But I think people will sign up. I think it's a good idea. It'd be really neat.
So now on my to-do list, hopefully between when we're recording this and when it's released, we put that page up. So if you're listening now, if you're listening to us, please go to the website, howpreschoolteachersdoit.com. And there's a menu with like community or member items. I forget exactly how it's worded now. And in there, you'll see there are pages where you have to log in, look for the sign up for pen pals. And if you're having trouble finding that, there's a contact form on that website that's easy for everyone to access. I can always forward those to Alison as well, but it would be wonderful if we all went on there, because you also could see on there, maybe if we do this right, who is looking.
That's the key. If we do this right, like that would be kind of neat if eventually.
Maybe not. I don't know.
To that, I have no idea. But you guys can communicate to each other on there too, I think, can't they?
In the blog, they certainly can.
In the blog.
in the blog area. So,
Okay.
but I want to put a separate page for this. It might just be a contact form with a headline that says, I want a pen pal. And you write to us with the I want a pen pal subject, but I'm not sure how I'm setting it up. Let's just say
it'll be
because
there
the people
eventually.
don't need to hear the inner workings. Let's just say that we're going to have a spot on the website that likely is there already for you to let us know that you want to be part of the Pen Pal initiative, the Bringing Back the Pen Pals initiative.
Bringing back the pen pals.
Because wouldn't it be a wonderful thing for you to have to do with your even very young students, to sit with them and say, okay, I'm going to write what you said, but it's not based on just a question of the day. It's we're going to write to someone, and they're going to write
back. And eventually, I feel like at the end of the year, through the power of technology that we have now, you could have a little like Zoom meetup at the end of the school year that says, hey, we're going to actually see the faces of our pen pal via this great technology that we have.
Zoom meetup, that would be awesome.
Right? Because you're not going to fly 4-year-olds to like across the country, but you can meet everybody through the power of Zoom in the little, I was going to call it the Brady Bunch boxes.
It is sort of.
Through that. Yeah.
And why are we saying take pen to paper and write? Several reasons.
Oh, yeah.
In order for children to value what we're trying to teach them about writing and the importance of writing, they need to see you write with pen to paper. Also, because it is a good exercise. I'm not just saying this to save the Postal Service, which we single-handedly could save the Postal.
We could, yeah.
But no, what I'm saying is the actual act of mailing something is something that for many of these children is unique, would be exciting. They do see mail come into their homes. They do want to get mail. And I think that it would be awesome for you to have mail arrive for them the old-fashioned, old-timey way. Yes.
And then you could extend it and invite a mail carrier to your school. I know, I'm full of ideas today. I've done that. My father was a mail carrier. And
was he really?
Yeah.
My father, okay, we're about to have like our own aha moment in front of everybody. My father was an executive supervisor for the Postal Service. He ran, no, seriously, he was.
Did he hire my father?
No. He was in charge of something having to do with military mail.
Oh, cool.
And so that was like his department was military mail. So we have this in common and we didn't even know.
We didn't even know. Yeah, my dad worked for the Postal Service for many, many years.
Wow.
Yeah, and he started as a mail carrier and then he got injured and then he became a clerk.
So
he was there until the day he died.
We're postal babies. Maybe that's why we're telling people to do pen pals.
To do it because it's in our heart. Yeah.
Okay. Whatever. Yeah. I'm just saying, get the letters on paper because we want children to see writing on paper and that it has value. And we want them to understand. You never know if they're going to have to. I know everybody emails now. Please don't email it.
Don't email.
Please don't. Let's. I think there's value to the writing with them. And again, if it's nothing else, then your spoken words can also be written words. And let's work on your grammar this way. And let's work on a skill of writing to people that can be then when you're older taken or in a business taken to email. Yeah. But really the base skill was so important in my life, being able to write a letter. I really attribute some of that pen pal stuff with my ability to do things like write cover letters for a resume.
Yes. Which I am pretty good at.
Which I do digitally, which maybe sent digitally, but you know what?
But I know how to do it.
I know how to write a letter because I had the basics of writing a letter. So we're going to stop preaching it and we're just going to make sure people know. Go to the website. Let us know if you also would like Pen Pal. And I just want to assure people if they're thinking, well, I don't want to log into the website. We are not using your personal information in any way unless you give us permission to. So,
and I feel like at this point, if you are a little questionable, like you don't want to sign up as a member, just email us and then then you're not a member, but then you miss out on some stuff. But I feel like
go in, log in as a member. I can
understand the privacy issue. I get that. But
we have a privacy statement
on there
that we are, if we have not already, that we are loading onto the website. And I just want you all to be rest assured. We're not selling any names. We're not giving away any names. We're not even using them. If you write to us, we write back. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Go do it, people.
Yay. I'm so excited.
Really think about it. I hope everybody else is excited as Alison. And
I know.
we will catch you on the podcast next time, folks.
Bye, pen pals.
Bye.